What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic CM. It's episode number 106, and starting today's of stuff, Bill Tech comes to us and says, people have been talking about the position he's playing in, and he says he's ready to do whatever's necessary to be successful for the team, and he's happy to play as a left winger as that's part of his plan. Now, we mentioned Bill Tech quite a few times. The guy averages a goal or an assist in every single game. Right now, 4 goals and 6 assists in 10 in all competitions. 18 years old, and yes, you could say the game time, as we've mentioned before, is not the most consistent, but whenever he does play, he consistently plays really, really well. He's only grown 1 rating this season. He's up to 76 overall. As we know, traditionally, we always see those minus and the number next to the minus in red when we play him out of his official position, which is left back. Of course, we primarily play him as a left midfielder. And obviously, I've mentioned this quite a few times before. You see the top scorer, assists, and clean sheets charts as Fatty and Leandro are 1 and 2 right now. Ter Stegen trying to retain his golden glove. And it's great to see Leandro topping the assist charts as well. The round of 16 draw, the Copa del Rey got Osasuna away from home, and of course 19 games in, officially at the halfway point. We're 8 points clear of Atletico and 13 clear of Real Sociedad as well. I will keep playing Bilbao Arteta. I'm just going to keep on doing it. I know his growth is incredibly slow. It's like a snail's pace. But even so, I'm still going to play him because I really, really like him. And whenever he does play, again, he tends to either chip in with a goal or an assist. And it is very frustrating his growth is low. And I know I sound like a broken record when I talk about it, but it is something EA need to look at for next season. Why his potential went down from exciting prospect to showing great potential makes no sense to me whatsoever. It's something EA do need to look at for next year. It's at points, they just don't seem to understand a player is, developing in a different position and a different role. That shouldn't mean they have a decrease in their attributes, but still. Sorry, for the first game of today's episode, Mallorca away from home, newly promoted side to La Liga this season. Took the lead very early on. It was such a nice goal as well. Like Leandro this season, and top of the assist chart, second highest scorer in La Liga. That's what we wanted from him when we signed him in the summer from Crystal Palace, to be that kind of false 9 that links Dembele and Fatty into play, primarily the latter. And that's exactly what he did for the first goal. So, to the lead, got ourselves a goal up, almost made it 2-0 after a great save, kept the score at 1-0. But Mallorca would fight back 9 minutes before the break and get themselves back on level terms. Now, right now, again, 50 points on the board, 19 games in, so officially at the halfway point, and you do the maths, that means that as things stand, if we were to have the same record in the second half of the season as the first half of the season, we would join the points record set by Barcelona and Real Madrid once each with 100. This year, I want a new points record. But if we're going to do that, then these are the games we simply can't afford to slip up in. So right before the break, got back in front through Dembele. But this was a really, really difficult game. And I mentioned before this season, whilst we are currently 8 points clear at the top of the table, it's been a more competitive season. It's been more difficult this year. And this game was one of the games which kind of summed that up as well, because I felt like we've been playing better, but there was always the threat that Mallorca would find a leveller. They did in the first half, and then in the second half, they'd battle back twice to get themselves what in the end was a second leveller in the game. Lovely little through ball into the path and a great finish as well. So twice we've been pegged back by the visitors right now, scrapping for survival down the bottom of the table. And again, whilst I felt as though I was playing better, I felt as though there were always more chances for goals. Every time I came forward, I just lacked the composure. I was just feeling a little bit nervous, because I just know what's at stake. Every single slip up is a massive, massive missed opportunity as we try and set a new points record of 101 or more. Had 2 late chances through Dembele, who scored our second, missed the target with both, and in the end, that was how the game would finish. Mallorca 2, Barcelona 2, and again, I know we're top of the table, I know we're several points clear, but believe me when I say it, it's been a much more competitive and much more challenging season. In the games where we have won, yes, there have been a couple of games where we just absolutely thrashed our opponents and won by several goals, but a lot of the games have only been won by a single goal, or they've been real grind out victories. That was just one of those games where I thought, well, I'll probably find a winner at some point. Sadly, I couldn't do so, but I wasn't surprised. The difficulty this season has been a lot more challenging than it was last year. But still, Following that, we rejected 2 bids for Tommy Yasu, our Japanese defender, who is going nowhere. And for the second game of stage, it's the second of 3 games in stage. It's Copa del Rey, last 16. Aiming to go out to winning ways here, away against Osasuna, and make it through to the quarterfinals of the Cup we won last year. And once again, just like against Mallorca, it was one of those games where I felt like I was playing better than my opponents, but I just seem to be a bit nervous when going forward 1-on-1. It's a great chance with De Jong, then Ferran Torres was denied, as we were still deadlocked at 0-0 half an hour into the game. And I was thinking, my goodness, every time I come forward, I'm getting the chances, but I'm just not keeping my composure. Once again, 2 minutes before the break, Bilbao Arteta storms down left, rolls into the bar for Anti-Fati, takes a touch, gets it out of his feet, but bends one off the post as we went into the break, still tied at 0-0, playing better, but just couldn't find the breakthrough. Totally unlike last season, where in these sort of games, with these sort of chances, I'll take at least 1 or 2 of them, and we'd be home and dry by half time. This season, totally different. And with 3 minutes in the game, in the second half, when nothing had gone on whatsoever, Osasuna played some lockdown defense. I couldn't get a chance until I did. 2 minutes to go in the game, the only chance of the second half, Ansu Fati comes up clutch and drills it in at the near post to send us through to the last 8. Again, such a difficult and challenging game, because this is kind of what I wanted. I talked about last season how we kind of like coasted to a domestic double. That's not what I wanted this season. I wanted more of a challenge. And it certainly has been, no doubt about that. The degree of difficulty has definitely increased, no doubt about it. And I will be honest here, I have modified the sliders a little bit to make it more challenging. But even so, I really like the degree of difficulty being harder for me. That game was just another one there. I really had to grind the victory out. Played better, just couldn't take the chances until I did. But still, into the last 8 of the Copa del Rey, Athletic Bilbao will meet us in the quarterfinals as we try and keep our treble dreams alive. When I think about it now, could you say quadruple? Could you say quadruple dreams now, possibly? I mean, the Super Cup, yeah, I suppose so. The Super Cup is an official trophy, isn't it? So really, it's a quadruple we're going for now as we're into the last 8 of the Copa del Rey. The third and final game of today's episode, final one of January. Valencia here at the new camp called we took on match day 1 at the Mestalla, beat them by 3-0. So heading into this game, after 2 really difficult games, and a grind out victory against Osasuna in the Copa del Rey, and a disappointing slip up away against Mallorca, I wanted a bit more of an easier game in this one, but once again it was difficult. We took the lead early in the game, but weren't really getting too many chances. Valencia was sitting really deep. I was struggling to create chances, almost caught the goalkeeper out from like 40 yards, but other than that, couldn't get inside very often until 10 minutes after the restart. Little bit of a lucky goal this one, but we'll take it. Dembele slides it through to Leandro after an initial stand tackle wasn't strong enough, and our number 9, there was some fancy footwork going on there as well from Leandro, adjusting his left leg to find himself some space to shoot, which he did, and found the back of net for goal number 13, I think it is this season, or possibly 14. So 2-0 Barcelona, and 5 minutes to go, we would get ourselves a third goal. What a ball this was through to Dembele. Absolutely brilliant pass, and there was Usman to get third goal of the game in a 3-0 victory. But again, the scoreline a little bit deceptive. Like, definitely deserved the win, don't get me wrong, but again, quite a challenging game at one. Didn't get inside too many times, but thankfully on the 3 occasions we did get clear-cut chances, I managed to take them all, unlike in the last couple of games. So yeah, 3-0 win, great way to close out January, and as you can see on deadline day we had £35.5 million to work with in the final day for transfers in January. And again, there wasn't really anything to do. We hadn't done anything in January because why bother? Like right now, again, as things stand, we've got a chance at not just a treble, but as we remember now, a quadruple. But I thought we got 35 million. There's a player that's been on my shortlist since we came into Barcelona last season. He's out of contract in the summer, which means we can get him for valuation, or maybe just a little bit under. In the end, we put in a valuation bid. Hertha Berlin accepted it at £32.5 million, and John Patrick Prados Lopez signs and comes in on transfer deadline day. Pretty pricey contract, don't get me wrong, for a youngster, but you'll see the reason I was happy to get him is because I had a suspicion he'd have high potential. And he does indeed. He has potential to be special. Only 20 years old, but 79 overall. Now, he's quite small by a centre-half standards at 5'10", but he's got 97 jumping, so that shouldn't bother him too much. And with some really awesome defensive stats to begin with, and 90 strength as well, if we train that defensive work rate up and get the strength up as much as we can, get the heading accuracy up as well, and possibly the interceptions too, that's quite low at the moment at 62, this guy to turn into an absolute beast as part of the back three. Again, relatively small, at 5'10", don't get me wrong, but hey, listen, think about all the years Javier Mascherano played centre-half for Barcelona. He wasn't the tallest, no doubt about that, but he still formed a formidable partnership at the back. Carlos Puyol was always very happy to have him alongside him. So yeah, Prados Lopez in, and that will be the only bit of business we did on transfer deadline day and in the January window as we're the top deal. So look at that, Josh De Silva going from Arsenal to Liverpool, one of our favourite players in the save. He's now gone to Anfield, but that would do it then. Deadline day over, and as you can see, despite step up against Mallorca, the win over Valencia means we're 9 points clear of Atletico Madrid and 11 clear of Real Sociedad. 17 games to go. The points record's going to be difficult to get now. We need to be almost flawless, but it's still a possibility, as is the quadruple. But that was this episode of the Realistic CM, guys. Big thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, if you have, then please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next episode of the Realistic CM very soon.